Hey, what's up, guys? Thank you for all your comments in response to the fake FBI agent police impersonator video. I'm going to go over some of those comments and give my response. For those that haven't watched the video, please do. This was a clear case of entrapment. All right. So in summary, the driver was stopped for improper display of his license plate, being that the rear license plate had a tinted license plate cover. The officer initiating the traffic stop noticed that the driver had a lighting apparatus on his dash, which was not activated. Okay, so when the officer asked the driver what kind of or color lighting system is that, the driver responded, said, "Those are red and blues. I'm a security contractor. Some of the work I do requires red and blue lighting." At which point the officer asked the driver to turn the lighting apparatus on, which the driver did. And that is where the entrapment is. Because officers cannot entice or induce one into committing a crime one otherwise would not commit, and there's no saying that the driver would have activated that lighting system. As when he was pulled over, the lighting system was not activated. So the point being is that anything obtained during the search as a result of that incident is known as the fruit of the poisonous tree, which is a Fourth Amendment search and seizure violation, and thus considered inadmissible, okay, in court. Not pulling over immediately in Nevada and pulling over when it is safe to do so apparently is evading a peace officer. And even though the subject stated numerous times to the peace officer that he is not a cop, I guess the arresting officer drew the inference that the individual was impersonating or personating a peace officer just based on the totality of the circumstances, even though the individual stated numerous times that he is not a peace officer or a cop. So we'll go over some of the comments. One of the arguments somebody had was the plain view doctrine. But again, if something is in plain view, okay, like a lighting system, then you would not ask that person to turn the lighting system on so that it is displaying in order to confirm that the lighting system is red and or blue lighting. All right, so the in plain sight doctrine is something completely different. It doesn't apply here because you wouldn't need to ask for the individual to turn that lighting system on. If this was something that was in plain view, the officer would have been able to draw the inference that the lighting system is red and blue. And at which point there would be no need to turn on the lighting system, would there? And he would have already had the driver out and in cuffs in order to further conduct the search. So one of the comments we have here is, why aren't you telling anyone how you got the FBI badge? Well, being the matter is currently pending federal investigation, it would be inappropriate for me to comment on the matter any further. Next question or comment. There are so many cops out there who have to call their bosses for directions on what to do. And you are right, they don't know what the hell they're doing. And that's about 80% of them, I would say, from what I've seen. Thank you, Chuck B. You make a very good point in that most officers only know the provisions of law which they enforce routinely, all right, or on a daily basis. So when we have situations where officers have to contact their superiors for consultation on how to enforce the law that the public expects them to know, you expect these people to have all the answers, right? They attended a peace officer academy, okay? They're certified by their state's authority which is usually known as the Commission on Peace Officers Standards on Training. All right, and then so anytime you have officers that don't know the law and they have to contact their boss, keep in mind that peace officers are given great discretionary powers to draw reasonable inferences in response to the totality of the circumstances, right? So how do you trust your local law enforcement in terms of their better judgment if they don't know their job? Anywhere that you go, people are expected to know their job, right? In most instances, right? Like, I mean, that's why you can't claim to have attended a peace officer academy where you were especially trained in the interpretation of the Nevada Revised Statute when you don't know the Nevada Revised Statute. You're the peace officer, right? So how come you don't know the law? How come you have to contact all these people and ultimately waste public's funds in response to a situation that could have easily been de-escalated? And so what you have here is a situation where the law clearly states, right, that a red and blue and or blue lighting system, it has to be displayed. You can't operate a vehicle with blue and or red lights displaying. Those lights have to be displaying, all right? And it required for all that law enforcement assistance. In the video, there was 4 or 5 peace officers, including the head sheriff of CCSO, to conclude the definition of displaying. Because that's what this is all about. Otherwise, that would have just been improper display of a license plate. Right? Why? How is the license plate improperly displaying? Well, because the license plate is displaying, but it's improperly displaying because the license plate is obstructed, right? Okay. All right. And that goes for when there's no license plate. So clearly there's a problem with their nomenclature. And then so trouble is that when you have a municipality like this, you can't trust their better judgment. Because these are no longer public officials. That's why people are scared of law enforcement. Because there's certain laws that are open to interpretation, right? There's stupid laws all across the country. You can enforce those laws. It's illegal to collect rainwater in Colorado. You're going to go and enforce that? You're going to make an issue for somebody collecting rainwater? You see what I'm saying? So, now, had somebody been impersonating a peace officer or public official in commission to further other crimes, that would be different, okay? Then I would understand. But just somebody riding around clearly has more training than all of these peace officers on site. I mean, I could tell you right now, I could show you certifications. Official from the FBI's training division. All right? I could show you all sorts of certifications on training that I have as a peace officer, investigator, and public safety. So what you have here is clearly policing for profit, and this is going on nationwide. This is what's really causing for municipalities to go broke, because if you go on Transparent Nevada or any of these websites that list these people's salaries, you can look them up. You can get their names and look them up on their state's website and find out how much they're making. And I know for a fact that they're defrauding the government of federal funds, especially because what happens is that many law enforcement agencies get funding from the federal government for training purposes. They did so with the like the COVID relief, etc. And then so what they oftentimes do is they give certain benefits to their public officials or employees that are then mismanaged or misused. Like they'll give them like thousands of dollars for the purpose of healthcare. They give them debit cards, but they can use that however they want. And so most of these people, what they do is they buy guns with those funds. They buy weapons. Anyhow, thanks for tuning in. Comment, like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter. Check out my podcast. And until next time.